Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to.
Hey guys, welcome back to APC. I'm AndeeParis, and this is where I connect with you guys. Crick, story time. This story is actually about, I forgot what the damn story is about. So this story is actually about two brothers, all right, Robert and Tolbert. Robert, he has a girlfriend right now, and Tolbert, he's on his single mode, you know, he's by himself, just doing boy things and just chilling, okay? But, you know, Robert, he got himself a girlfriend, he's thinking future and everything like that. Now, background about the two brothers, they've always butted heads. They never really got along. There was always a competition. Robert always felt like Tolbert is always trying to like take everything from him. So he doesn't trust his own brother. That's how it started. So Robert ended up getting with this girl named Crystal. They've been together for a few months now. Of course, Robert has introduced Crystal to his family, which means that she's seen Tolbert before. So Tolbert have seen Crystal, and Tolbert, you know, he thinks that she cool. Like he feel like his brother hit a jackpot with Crystal, and that she's a good girl, and you know, because that's his brother's girlfriend, he just wants to be able to be friends and be cool with her or whatever. But Robert felt differently. Robert felt very possessive and very like he didn't want Tolbert to be around Crystal at all. However, Crystal and Tolbert get along. So it was gonna be Halloween time, and so you know, Robert and Tolbert decided that they wanted to go spend Halloween with their parents. So they, you know, they don't live by their parents anymore, and so they had to drive to get to their parents. And Tolbert was like, you know, I don't want to drive by myself, so why don't I just join you and we could just drive together. Tolbert did not know that Robert was taking Crystal with them for the holidays for October. And so when Tolbert gets there the morning of their road trip, he saw Crystal was there. So he's like, hey, what's up, sister-in-law? Whatever. Hi, you know, like he's happy to see her. They get along, they cool. And immediately Robert started giving like faces that he started like looking like grumpy, like he was annoyed that they get along or whatever. So Robert's like, all right, we got everything, let's go, we're ready to get on the road, let's go. And so Tolbert was like, okay, let's get on the road. Who's driving first, bro, me or you? And Robert was like, I'll drive first. And so, you know, Tolbert's like, okay, suit yourself. Crystal's like, shotgun. And so Tolbert and Crystal start laughing. Robert is looking at them like, what's so funny? So Tolbert was like, all right, you win, shotgun, all right. And so he sits in the back seat. All right, so they're driving and heading to Colorado to their mother and father's house. Robert put some music on there, and Tolbert is out in the back acting a fool, just making Crystal laugh, having a good time. Tolbert is just like singing the song, singing it off beat, off tone, everything, wrong words, and just having a good time. And Crystal's in the front just like cheesing, like straight just smiling because it's funny. It's funny, you know. And Robert is on the other side like just looking through the rearview mirror thing, and he's looking at his brother and just like rolling his eyes. He's pissed, and he's like, Tolbert, you think you can tone down a little bit? You know, we have a long drive. Tolbert was like, let's have some fun, we have a long way to go, why not, let's have some fun. And Robert was like, well, you know, I just, you know, let's just save our energy for later. Tolbert was like, you gotta calm down, bro, like chill out, like let's just have some fun, you got your girl with you, be cool. Crystal looks at Robert and she's like, yeah honey, like just relax, it's okay, we're okay. And so Robert relaxed and he listened to Crystal. All right, so they still driving, they going down the roads, you know, it's a straight road, just driving. So then Robert made a stop to get gas and, you know, little snacks, little this, you know, road trip. Robert had to go get the snacks, so Robert was like, babe, you want to come with me? And Crystal was like, oh no, I'll just stay in the car, no problem. And so he goes to go get it, and Tolbert was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay in the car too, bro, I'm gonna stay in the car. And he stays in the car. So him and Crystal start talking. He was like, yo, you really like my brother, huh? And Crystal was like, yeah, I do. I think I'm in love with him. And Tolbert was like, wow, that's some big words right there. So that's your future husband, right? And Crystal was like, yeah, I think so. If he asks the right questions, you know, the answer is yes. So Tolbert was like, what? And he was celebrating. He's happy for his brother. He's like, oh, he's happy for his brother. And so Robert he's coming out the door, and he noticed that Tolbert is in the driver's seat in the front with Crystal. So he walked even faster to get to the vehicle. He's like, what's going on here? Why you up here? Like, what? I'm driving. It ain't time for you to drive. And Tolbert was like, chill, bro. Like, what's up with you? Like, I'm just talking to my sis. Is that okay? Can I talk to my sister right there? And he was like, I don't know. One can say no, one can say yes. A very strange answer. Tolbert was like, huh? And Crystal was like, it's okay, babe. Like, we're just waiting on you. Are we done? Are we ready to get back on the road? And Robert was like, yes, we are. We're ready to get back on the road. And Tolbert was like, why don't I drive? And Robert said, no, I don't want you to drive right now. I'm driving. Crystal was like, but honey, that'll give you some time to rest and everything. It's okay. Let him drive. Robert gets real upset. He gets pissed. He's upset with his brother. But he listened to Crystal. And so he went and he sat in the back, but he sat like behind Crystal. So behind the passenger seats. So they're back on the road. Tolbert is like a goofball. You know, he likes to have fun. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It's a good thing. So while he's driving, he starts playing like this kid game. What is it called? I see with my little eye. And then you start like saying stuff and the person got to find it. And so he started playing this game with Crystal, but he was also playing with his brother. But Robert wanted no part. He did not want to partake. He was just like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to play. But Crystal, she did play. She sat up. She was like having fun. At first, when Robert was in the front, she was all laid back, you know, relaxed, being like reserved. But when Tolbert was the one driving, she sat up like a little kid and just playing around. Tolbert is like, I spy with my little eye a building that's purple, green, and blue. And she's like, is that one right there? And so they're having a good time just playing, laughing, you know. And Robert is in the back just upset. And so Tolbert was like, yo, hold on real quick. I gotta stop the car real quick. So they stop on the side of the road. And Robert is like, this is not safe. I don't want to stop on the side of the road. Why are we stopping on the side of the road? Like, no. What you trying to do, Tolbert? And he's like, yo, I gotta use the restroom. And Robert was like, you could just use the restroom on the next stop. And Tolbert is like, I can't hold that long. And he's like, well, why didn't you use it before? And Tolbert is like, well, because I didn't feel it then. I didn't feel it then. And so Robert was like, oh my God, hurry up, because we're on the side of the road. It's not safe. That's how, you know, Robert felt. So Tolbert parks, he gets out, and, you know, he went to go use the restroom, and he ended up wetting himself. So he gets in the car, he's like, hey, look, spilled. I dirtied myself, whatever. So Crystal is laughing, he's laughing, and Robert is like, yo, you're gonna f up my car. You're gonna stink it up. Like, no, man, no, go change your pants. So he had to go to the back and like get himself a new pants and put it on. He gets back on the driver's seat. They start driving, right? They're driving. Now they're like 6 hours in. Just driving. Everything was okay. And then Robert just started to act funny. He's like, Crystal, come sit in the back with me. Tolbert's like, I'm driving, bro. Like, well, you told me not to stop. I'm not gonna stop. Like, how she could go to the back? He's like, she could just cross over. Like, just get up and cross over. And Tolbert was like, no, we're not. That's not safe. Robert is like, since when did you give a damn about safe? You don't care. You never care. And Tolbert was like, bro, like, I'm just kidding. Calm down. And Robert was like, no, I'm not gonna calm down. You do this every single time. That's why mom and dad always had to come to the school for you. Like, you always causing problems. You're very naive and you're very neglectful and you're just very careless. That's why your life is all upside down and stuff. Robert was taking jabs at Tolbert. And you know, that actually finally hit Tolbert somewhere. And it wasn't funny. So Tolbert just got quiet. And now Crystal was like quiet. And so she spoke to Robert. She was like, you should apologize. And Robert was like, for what? A fact is a fact. Like, a fact is a fact is a fact is a fact. Like, what you mean? I'm not apologizing. He does this all the time. Crystal was like, but that was a little brutal. That was a little harsh. That was a little too much. Like, you know, you should like say sorry. And Robert was like, I'm not saying sorry. And Crystal was like, well, I don't think that's the best attitude. And that makes me wonder about, you know, how would you handle any issues with us? Like, you just gonna say brutal stuff, or are we gonna be able to have real communication? And Crystal turned around and faced forward and stopped talking to him. And Robert sat back and just kind of was looking out the window and just kind of processing everything. And so they get to their neighborhood, their parents' neighborhood. It was just quiet. Everybody, it was awkward and everything like that. When they get out the car, Robert wanted to apologize to Tolbert. So he was like, they got out the car, and so they were right by the car on the outside. And he was like, yo, bro, you know, I'm sorry. And then while he was about to say sorry, Tolbert just cut it off right there. He was like, yo, you know, save it. I don't want to hear it. And so then he got his bag and they went inside of the house. The mom and dad is super happy to see them. My baby. Oh, my baby. You know what I mean? She's excited to see them. The dad as well. He's excited to see his sons. So they go inside the house and, you know, the mom is just mushy, just all over them, just hugging them, kissing them. Of course, they were also happy to see Crystal. So, you know, they're like hugging her. Hey, Crystal, how's your family? How's your mother? How's your father? How's everything going? You guys are okay and everything. So they're just chit-chatting, you know, having a good time. And then Crystal took a sigh. She went like, And so the mother was like, what is it, honey? Are you okay? Crystal was like, she looked at Robert and she looked at Tolbert. She's like, I don't know if I should be saying this, but they got into an argument. And so, you know, things is a little awkward right now. And the mom was like, really? An argument? Robert, Tolbert, what's going on? You know, let's talk about it. Tolbert was like, I don't want to talk about it. And Robert was like, well, you know, I said some not nice things to Tolbert. I tried to apologize to him, but he doesn't want my apology. And Tolbert was like, it's because you meant what you said. And Robert was like, no, I was just upset. So I said what I said. And Tolbert was like, no, you always say this throughout the year. So that's how you feel about me. You feel like you're superior to me, that I'm less than you. And so Robert was like, no, I don't feel that way. Actually, I feel like you always want to take all the good stuff that I have and just kind of leave me stranded with you know, crumbs. And Tolbert was like, what? I would never do that to you. You're my brother and I love you. Like, that's why I'm always making sure that I'm always with you, spending time with you. I always want to have fun with you because you're my brother. I love you. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing bad for you. And Robert was like, really? And Tolbert said, yeah, really. Matter of fact, I was just speaking to Crystal, trying to find out what's going on. And then he looked at Crystal and he was like, can I tell him? And she was like, do what you gotta do as you please. And so Tolbert was like, you know, she was telling me she's in love with you. She love you, and you know, she's waiting for you to, you know, pop that big question. And so Robert eye lit up like, really? Oh, so you wasn't trying to get my girl? Like, you really wasn't trying to push up on her? And Tolbert was like, why would I do that? That's your girl. And I choose to be single. This is not none of that. And on top of that, if I want a girl, I could just go get my own. Why would I want my brother's girlfriend? Like, what? Don't make no sense, bro. And Robert was like, yo, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I thought this way. I'm so sorry. And Tolbert was like, yeah, that's a little weird, but you know, you cool. I forgive you. I love you, bro. And Robert was like, I love you too. I'm sorry I made you think that you're less than. Actually, I look up to you. I think you're the best brother ever. I love you so much, bro. And so from that point right there, the mom, the dad, everybody just staring. Chris was sitting down just staring. And then they just came and hugged each other and made up just like that. Just like that. And yeah, about a few months later, you know, Tolbert ended up finding a girl, started dating, so he wasn't single anymore, and he was really, really happy. And the girl got along with Crystal as well, you know, just like a happy family. The end. That's it. That's all. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and remember to share it with at least one person that you cannot stand, some people that you like, absolutely all the ones you love. Share the video, and I will connect with you guys on the next one. Peace. Tip. You.